Captain Jake Martinez stood on the bridge of his ship, the UES Horizon. He looked out at the blue planet below them. The planet was covered in water, and strange cities glowed beneath the waves. This was Aquatilia Prime, home to the Zephyrians. Jake had been a ship captain for 10 years. He had visited many worlds and met many alien races. But this was different. This was the first time humans would meet the Zephyrians. The meeting could change everything for both races. "Captain, we're getting a message from the planet," said Commander Ryan Brooks. Ryan was Jake's best friend and second in command. They had served together for 5 years. "Put it on screen," Jake said. The screen showed a strange being. She looked like a mix between a human and a sea creature. Her skin was pale blue and covered in small scales that sparkled like jewels. Strange patterns of light moved across her skin. Her eyes were large and silver like mirrors. She had long, flowing hair that moved like water. "I am Princess Lyrelei Wavecrest," the being said. Her voice was musical, like the sound of waves. "I speak for the Zephyrian Empire. We will meet with you on your ship." Jake stepped forward. "I am Captain Jake Martinez. We welcome this meeting, Princess. We hope to build friendship between our peoples." The princess looked at him with what seemed like amusement. "We shall see, human. We shall see." The screen went dark. Dr. Lisa Park walked onto the bridge. She was the ship's expert on alien life and cultures. Lisa had studied every known alien race for years. She was excited about meeting the Zephyrians. "Captain, I've been reading about their culture," Lisa said. "The Zephyrians are very different from us. They don't like to touch things or people. They talk using the lights on their skin. Physical contact is forbidden in their society." Jake nodded. "We'll be careful. This meeting is too important to mess up." 2 hours later, Jake stood in the ship's main meeting room. Ryan and Lisa were with him. They watched as a strange craft approached their ship. The craft looked like a giant seashell made of crystal. It attached to their ship with a soft hiss. The door opened, and water flowed out. Then Princess Lyrelei stepped through. She was even more beautiful in person. The lights on her skin moved in complex patterns. Behind her came 4 other Zephyrians. One was an older male with darker blue skin. "I am Keldon Tidecaller," the older Zephyrian said. "I advise the princess." Jake stepped forward to shake hands, but Keldon stepped back quickly. The lights on his skin turned red. "Forgive me," Jake said. "I forgot about your customs." "Princess?" Lyrelei's skin showed patterns of blue and green light. "How strange that your species touches each other so freely. Do you not fear disease? Do you not value personal space?" Lisa stepped forward. "In human culture, touching shows friendship and respect. A handshake is a sign of peace." "How primitive," the princess said. The lights on her skin seemed to laugh. "We Zephyrians have evolved beyond such crude needs. We communicate through light and color. It is far more sophisticated than your rough physical contact." Jake felt a bit annoyed but stayed calm. "Every culture has its own ways, Princess. Perhaps we can learn from each other." They moved to a large table. The Zephyrians would not sit in the human chairs. Instead, they stood in a circle and made patterns with their lights. The patterns were beautiful, like a light show. "This is how we share information," Princess Lyrelei explained. "Each color and pattern has meaning. We can share complex ideas in seconds." Lisa watched with wonder. "It's amazing. But don't you ever want to touch? To feel close to someone?" The princess's lights turned a sharp yellow color. "Touch is for lower animals. We are above such base needs. Your species seems obsessed with physical contact. I have read about your customs. You even press your lips together. How unsanitary and meaningless." "You mean kissing?" Ryan asked. "Yes. This kissing," the princess said. Her lights flickered with what seemed like disgust. "We don't kiss. We are not mindless creatures driven by basic urges. The idea that pressing lips together could have meaning is laughable." Jake felt his face get warm. Kissing isn't just physical, it's about emotion and connection. Emotion? The princess's light swirled. We express emotion through light. Your crude physical acts pale in comparison to our art. Dr. Park pulled out a small device. Princess, would you mind if I scan your light patterns? For science? Of course, the princess said. She began to glow brighter. Lisa held up the device, but she accidentally dropped it. Without thinking, she reached out and touched Princess Lyralay's arm to steady herself. The princess screamed. Not with her voice, but with her lights. Every pattern on her skin flashed bright red. The other Zephyrians moved away quickly. You touched her? Keldon shouted. This is an insult, a violation. I'm sorry, Lisa said. I didn't mean to. Princess Lyralay's lights slowly returned to normal colors. She looked at Lisa with anger. Your species cannot control itself. You react without thinking. You touch without permission. This proves that humans are indeed primitive. Jake stepped between them. Dr. Park made a mistake. In our culture, we help people when they fall. She meant no harm. Intent does not matter, the princess said coldly. Action matters. Your doctor showed that humans cannot be trusted to respect our ways. The room became silent. The meeting that was supposed to bring two species together was falling apart. Jake knew he had to fix this, but he didn't know how. Keldon whispered to the princess in their light language. She nodded and looked at Jake. We will continue this meeting, she said, but we will be more careful around your people. You must prove that humans can learn to respect superior cultures. Jake bit back his angry words. This princess thought her people were better than humans. She looked down on human customs and feelings. But he had to stay calm. Too much depended on this meeting. We will do our best to honor your ways, princess, Jake said. Princess Lyralay's light showed satisfaction. Good. Now let us discuss the real business. Your species wants to trade with the Empire, but first you must prove you are worthy of our attention. As the formal talks began, Jake watched. The princess. She was proud and cold. She thought humans were beneath her people. But Jake had dealt with difficult leaders before. He would find a way to reach her. He just didn't know it would involve proving her wrong about kissing. The next morning, Jake woke up early. He had spent the night thinking about the meeting with Princess Lyralay. She was difficult and proud, but he needed to make this work. The future of human and Zephyrian relations depended on it. He walked to the main conference room. The Zephyrians were already there, floating in large tanks of water that his crew had prepared. Princess Lyralay looked more relaxed in the water. Her lights moved in gentle waves across her skin. Good morning, princess, Jake said. Your day-night cycle is strange to us, she replied. On Aquatilia Prime, we follow the tides, not the sun. Dr. Lisa Park entered with a cart full of equipment. She had been working all night to learn more about Zephyrian culture. Princess, I prepared some presentations about human culture. Perhaps we can find common ground. Show us, Keldon said. His lights showed mild interest. Lisa activated a holographic display. It showed images of human families, cities, and art. Humans live in groups called families. We care for our children together. We build communities to help each other. Princessing. Lyralay watched the images. We also care for our young, but we do not need physical touch to show care. Watch. The princess began to glow with soft, warm colors. The patterns moved like gentle waves. The other Zephyrians responded with similar patterns. The room filled with beautiful dancing lights. This is how we show love and care, the princess explained. It is pure communication. No crude touching required. Commander Ryan Brooks joined them. It's beautiful, he said honestly, but humans show care differently. The hologram changed to show a human mother hugging her child. Then it showed a couple holding hands. Finally, it showed two people kissing. Princess. Lyralay's lights turned sharp and bright. There it is again, your obsession with pressing bodies together. This kissing behavior is especially puzzling. Why does it bother you so much? Lisa asked. Because it is unnecessary, the princess said. What could possibly be communicated by pressing lips together that cannot be said with words or lights? Jake thought about this. It's not about communication exactly, it's about feeling. Feeling? The princess's lights showed confusion. Explain this concept. Ryan smiled. When I kiss my wife, it's not to tell her something. It's to share a moment, to feel close to her, to show that she matters more to me than anyone else. Primitive pair bonding, Keldon said dismissively. Zephyrians choose mates through compatibility of light patterns. It is scientific and logical. But what about romance? Lisa asked. What about passion and surprise and joy? Princess Lyralei's lights flickered strangely. Romance? Passion? These are not logical concepts. They lead to poor decisions. Jake leaned forward. Princess, has your species never felt the excitement of falling in love? The happiness of finding someone who understands you completely? We bond with mates who complement our light frequencies, she said, but her voice sounded less certain than before. It is efficient and practical. That sounds lonely, Ryan said quietly. The princess's lights flashed angrily. We are not lonely. We have deep connections through our light communication. We share thoughts and feelings more completely than your species ever could. But do you share wonder? Jake asked. Do you share surprise? Do you share that moment when someone does something unexpected that makes your heart race? Princess Lyrelei was quiet for a long moment. Her lights moved in slow, thoughtful patterns. Heart race? Your physical reactions to emotion are another sign of your primitive nature. Lisa pulled up another image. It showed an elderly human couple sitting together, holding hands. These two people have been married for 60 years. Every day, they choose to love each other. Every day, they find new things to appreciate about each other. Inefficient, Keldon said. Zephyrian bonds are formed once and maintained through duty. Duty isn't love, Jake said. Love is choosing someone every day because they make your life better. Princess Lyrelei swam closer to the edge of her tank. This makes no sense. How can you choose the same person repeatedly? Either they are compatible or they are not. Because people grow and change, Ryan explained. My wife is not the same person I married 5 years ago. She's become more confident, more creative, more beautiful. I fall in love with new things about her all the time. The princess's lights moved in patterns Jake had not seen before. They were slower, more complex. You are saying that humans evolve together? In a way, yes, Lisa said. We learn from each other. We become better because of each other. And physical contact helps this process? The princess asked. Jake nodded. When I hold someone's hand, I can feel their heartbeat. I know if they're nervous or excited or sad. When I hug someone, they know they're safe and cared for. And when two people kiss? Yes? The princess's lights were very bright now. When two people kiss, what happens? It's like sharing souls for a moment, Jake said. All the walls come down. All the pretending stops. For just a few seconds, you're completely honest with each other. Princess Lyrelei was very still. Her lights had stopped moving entirely. This is impossible. Physical contact cannot create such effects. Have you ever tried it? Ryan asked gently. Of course not, the princess said quickly. But her lights flickered in a way that suggested uncertainty. Keldon made warning patterns with his lights. Princess, these humans are trying to corrupt you with their primitive ideas. But Princess Lyrelei wasn't listening to him. She was staring at Jake with her large silver eyes. You truly believe that pressing lips together can share souls? I don't just believe it, Jake said. I know it. Prove it, the princess said suddenly. Everyone in the room went quiet. Princess? Keldon's lights flashed with alarm. If this kissing is so powerful, Princess Lyrelei said, then prove it. Show me what it can do that our light speech cannot. Jake felt his heart start to beat faster. Princess, I don't think that's... Are you afraid? She asked. Her lights showed challenge and mockery. Perhaps your kissing is not as meaningful as you claim. Lisa stepped forward. Princess, this could be dangerous for diplomatic relations. We... Don't kiss, Princess Lyralee said, her voice full of sarcasm. We are not mindless creatures driven by base physical urges. But if you insist it has meaning, then prove it. Show me how your primitive ritual could possibly convey what our sophisticated light speech achieves. Jake looked at Ryan and Lisa. They both looked worried, but the princess was staring at him with those mirror-like eyes waiting for his answer. How would I prove it? Jake asked carefully. Princess Lyralee's lights danced with amusement. Simple. Kiss me. Show me what this action can communicate that words cannot. You have 3 seconds to prove your point. Keldon's lights went bright. Red. Princess, this is madness. But Princess Lyralee was not listening. She was watching Jake, waiting to see if he would accept her challenge. The room was completely silent except for the gentle sound of water in the Zephyrian tanks. Jake realized that everything depended on his answer. The princess thought she was calling his bluff. She believed kissing was meaningless and primitive. She expected him to back down and admit that human customs were inferior. But Jake knew something she didn't. He knew that a kiss could change everything. All right, princess, Jake said quietly. 3 seconds. Jake's heart was beating fast. He looked around the room at the shocked faces of his crew. Dr. Lisa Park looked worried. Commander Ryan Brooks looked like he wanted to stop this. The Zephyrian advisor Keldon was flashing angry red lights. But Princess Lyralee was calm. She floated in her water tank with a small smile on her face. Her lights moved in slow, mocking patterns. She thought she had won. She thought Jake would refuse and prove that human customs were meaningless. Captain, Lisa whispered, this could destroy the diplomatic mission if something goes wrong. I know, Jake said quietly. But if I back down now, she'll never respect humans. She'll always think we're primitive. Princess Lyralee laughed, a sound like water over stones. Your advisor is wise, Captain. Perhaps you should listen to her. Admit that your kissing is just a meaningless physical act. Jake stepped closer to the princess's tank. For this to work, you'll need to come out of the water. Impossible, Keldon said. His lights flashed with panic. The princess cannot risk contamination from your bacteria. We have clean air chambers, Lisa offered. Medical grade, perfectly safe. Princess Lyralee's eyes sparkled with interest. You're actually going to do this? You're going to try to prove that lip pressing has meaning? 3 seconds, Jake said. That's what you offered. The princess looked at Keldon, who was making urgent warning patterns with his lights. She looked at the other Zephyrians, who seemed horrified. Then she looked back at Jake. Very well, she said. I will prove that your primitive custom is meaningless. Prepare your clean chamber. 20 minutes later, Princess Lyralee stood in the medical bay's isolation chamber. The air was perfectly clean and filtered. She wore a breathing device that gave her the moisture she needed. Without the water, Jake could see that she was more humanoid than he had thought. She was tall and graceful, with long legs and arms. Her scales caught the light like jewels. Jake stood outside the chamber. Between them was a clear barrier with an airlock system. Lisa had programmed it to allow exactly 3 seconds of contact, before automatically separating them. This is madness, Keldon muttered. His lights were dim with worry. It's brave, Ryan said quietly. They're both brave. Princess Lyralee looked at Jake through the clear barrier. Her lights were moving in complex patterns that seemed almost nervous. I want to be clear about something, Captain. When this fails to have any effect on me, your species will admit that Zephyrian culture is superior. And if it works? Jake asked. The princess's lights flickered. It won't. Jake stepped into the chamber. The princess was even more beautiful up close. Her skin seemed to glow from within. Her eyes were like liquid silver. He could smell something like ocean breeze and flowers. You may begin your primitive demonstration, she said, but her voice was softer than before. Jake looked into her eyes. Princess, I need you to understand something. A kiss isn't just about lips touching. It's about trust. It's about opening yourself to another person completely. Nonsense, she said, but she didn't sound as sure as before. I'm going to put my hand on your face, Jake said gently. Is that all right? Princess Lorelei nodded. Her lights were moving very slowly now, in patterns Jake had never seen. Jake reached out and gently touched her cheek. Her skin was warm and soft like silk. She gasped softly at the contact. Her light suddenly became brighter. You feel that? Jake asked quietly. Yes, she whispered. It's warm and strange. That's connection, Jake said. That's what touch can do. It says you're not alone. Jake moved his hand to cup her face gently. Princess Lorelei's eyes grew wide. Her lights were now moving in rapid, beautiful patterns. What's happening to me? She asked. You're feeling, Jake said. Really feeling, not just thinking or analyzing. Feeling. Jake leaned closer. Princess Lorelei didn't move away. Her breathing had become faster. Her lights were brighter than ever. 3 seconds, she whispered. 3 seconds, Jake agreed. He kissed her. It was gentle at first, just lips touching lips. But something amazing happened. Princess Lorelei's lights exploded across her skin in colors and patterns that had never been seen before. Blues and golds and silvers danced across her body like fireworks. The patterns were so beautiful and complex that everyone in the room gasped. But more than that, Jake felt something he had never felt before. It was like the princess's emotions were flowing into him. He felt her surprise, her wonder, her confusion, and something else. Something warm and bright and new. The 3 seconds felt like hours. When they separated, Princess Lorelei stumbled backward. Her lights were still flashing in wild, impossible patterns. Her eyes were wide with shock. That's impossible, she whispered. Jake stepped back, his own heart racing. How do you feel? Princess Lorelei touched her lips with her fingers. Her lights were slowly returning to normal, but they were different now. Softer. Warmer. I felt your emotions, she said in wonder. Not through light patterns, not through words, I felt them directly. How is that possible? Keldon was staring at the princess with alarm. Princess, your light patterns, they're completely new. I've never seen anything like them. Lisa was recording everything with her scanner. The energy readings are incredible. Captain, I think you've discovered a new form of communication. But Jake wasn't listening to them. He was watching Princess Lorelei, who was still touching her lips and staring at him with amazement. That was not primitive, she said quietly. That was... What? Jake asked. Beautiful, she whispered. And terrifying. And wonderful. I felt things I have never felt before. I understood things I never knew were possible. Ryan smiled. That's what a real kiss can do. Princess Lorelei looked around the room as if seeing it for the first time. Her lights were moving in gentle, curious patterns now. All this time, she said slowly, we thought physical contact was crude and meaningless. But it's not, is it? It's another language. A language we never learned to speak. Every species has their own ways of communicating, Jake said. Your light patterns are beautiful and complex. But so is touch. So is a kiss between two people who care about each other. Princess Lorelei was quiet for a long moment. Then she looked at Jake with new respect in her silver eyes. Captain Martinez, she said formally, I owe you an apology. I called your customs primitive. I was wrong. You don't need to apologize, Jake said. You were just protecting your culture. No, the princess said firmly. I was being arrogant. I thought our way was the only right way. But you've shown me that there are many ways to connect with another being. Many ways to share feelings and build understanding. Keldon looked confused. Princess, Surely you don't intend to change our ways because of one human demonstration. Princess Lyreley looked at her advisor, then back at Jake. I intend to learn, Keldon. For the first time in my life, I want to understand another culture instead of judging it. She turned to Jake. Captain, would you teach me more about human customs? I find myself curious. Jake smiled. I'd be honored, Princess. But as they looked at each other, both of them knew that something had changed forever. The kiss had lasted only 3 seconds, but it had opened a door between two worlds, and neither of them would ever be the same again. Princess Lyreley spent the next 3 days in her quarters. She told everyone she needed time to think about the new information she had learned. But Jake knew the truth. The kiss had changed her in ways she didn't understand yet. Keldon was worried about his princess. He came to Jake's office looking upset. His lights were dim and moved in nervous patterns. Captain Martinez, Keldon said, I need to speak with you about the princess. What's wrong? Jake asked. She has not been the same since your demonstration. She spends hours studying human culture files. She asks strange questions about emotions and feelings. This is not like her. Jake leaned back in his chair. Maybe she's just learning. No, Keldon said firmly. Princess Lyreley has always been logical and controlled. Now she seems confused and distracted. What did you do to her? I showed her that humans aren't primitive, Jake said. I showed her that our way of connecting with others has value. Keldon's lights flashed with anger. You contaminated her with your crude emotions. The princess was perfect before. She was a model of Zephyrian superiority. Now she questions everything. Jake felt his own anger rising. Maybe questioning things is good. Maybe your princess is becoming more than just a perfect Zephyrian. Maybe she's becoming herself. Before Keldon could answer, Dr. Lisa Park came running into the office. Captain, she said, you need to come to the lab right away. We've discovered something amazing. Jake and Keldon followed Lisa to her laboratory. Inside, computers showed complex patterns and charts. I've been analyzing the data from the princess's light patterns during the kiss, Lisa explained. Look at this. She pointed to a screen showing swirling colors and patterns. These are the princess's normal communication patterns. See how they're structured and predictable? Keldon nodded. Standard Zephyrian light speech. Now look at this, Lisa said, changing the screen. These are her patterns during the kiss. The new patterns were completely different. They moved in wild, beautiful ways that seemed almost alive. The colors were brighter and more complex than anything they had seen before. It's like she was speaking a new language, Lisa said excitedly. A language that combined Zephyrian light patterns with human emotional responses. Impossible, Keldon whispered. No Zephyrian has ever produced such patterns. That's not all, Lisa continued. I've been monitoring her patterns since then. They're still changing. She's developing new ways of expressing herself. Jake stared at the screen. What does this mean? I think the kiss awakened something in her, Lisa said. Something that was always there but never used. The ability to feel and express emotions in ways her species had forgotten. Keldon looked horrified. You're saying the captain damaged her? No, Lisa said firmly. I'm saying he helped her evolve. Just then, Commander Ryan Brooks came into the lab. Captain, the princess wants to see you. She's in the observation deck. Jake found Princess Lyreley floating in a small water tank on the observation deck. She was looking out at the stars, her lights moving in the new, complex patterns he had seen in Lisa's lab. Princess, Jake said softly. She turned to look at him. Her eyes seemed different now, deeper, more alive. Jake, she said. It was the first time she had used his first name. I've been thinking about what happened. And I understand now why my people fear physical contact, she said. It's not because it's primitive. It's because it's powerful. Too powerful for us to control. Jake sat down near her tank. What do you mean? Princess Lyralay's lights moved in slow, thoughtful patterns. We Zephyrians pride ourselves on logic and control. We believe emotions are weaknesses that lead to poor decisions. But when you kissed me, I felt your emotions directly, and they weren't weak at all. They were beautiful. Emotions can be confusing, Jake admitted, but they're also what make life worth living. Yes, the princess said. I'm beginning to understand that. For the first time in my life, I felt truly alive. Not just existing, but alive. She paused, her lights growing brighter. But there's a problem, Jake. My people don't understand what's happening to me. They think I've been corrupted or damaged. What do you think? Jake asked. Princess Lyralai was quiet for a long moment. I think I've been awakened, but awakening is frightening when you've spent your whole life asleep. Over the next few days, Princess Lyralai began to change even more. She started spending time with the human crew members, learning about their customs and feelings. She asked Dr. Park to teach her about human art and music. She listened to Commander Brooks tell stories about his wife and children. But the other Zephyrians became more worried. They held meetings where their lights flashed with concern and anger. They thought their princess was losing her mind. One evening, Jake found Princess Lyralay in the ship's garden. She was out of the water, wearing the breathing device that let her survive in air. She was touching the leaves of plants with wonder. They're so different when you touch them, she said. I never knew plants had texture and warmth. Jake sat beside her. Everything is different when you experience it with all your senses. Jake, she said quietly, I need to tell you something. My father, the Emperor, has sent word. He's heard about what happened between us. He's not happy. Jake felt a chill of worry. What did he say? He wants me to return home immediately. He says I've been contaminated by human ideas and need to be cleansed. Her lights showed sadness and fear. Will you go? Jake asked. Princess Lyralay looked at him with her silver eyes. I don't know. If I stay, I'll be exiled from my people forever. If I go, they'll try to make me forget everything I've learned. They'll try to make me forget you. What do you want to do? Jake asked gently. I want to keep learning, she said. I want to understand more about emotions and feelings and all the things my people have rejected. I want to know what it means to truly live. She turned to face him completely. Jake, will you teach me more about human ways? Will you help me become who I'm meant to be? Jake looked at this brave alien princess who was risking everything to grow and change. Yes, he said. But Lyralee, you need to know something. If you stay, if you keep learning and changing, you might never be able to go home again. I know, she whispered, but I've realized something. Home isn't just a place. It's where you can be yourself completely. And for the first time in my life, I'm starting to discover who I really am. She reached out and touched his hand. Her skin was warm and soft. Her lights moved in the beautiful new patterns that were uniquely hers. Thank you, she said, for showing me that there's more to existence than logic and duty, for showing me that feeling is not weakness but strength. Jake squeezed her hand gently. Thank you for being brave enough to learn. But even as they sat together in the garden, Jake knew their problems were just beginning. Princess Lyralay's people would not give up on her easily, and the human government would be worried about the diplomatic consequences of what had happened. The kiss had lasted only 3 seconds, but it had started a chain of events that would change both their worlds forever. 2 weeks later, Emperor Nepticus himself arrived at the human ship. His vessel was massive, like an underwater city made of crystal and pearl. Jake had never seen anything so beautiful or so intimidating. The Emperor was much larger than Princess Lyralai, with deep blue skin and lights that moved like lightning. When he spoke, his voice boomed through the water. Daughter, he said to Princess Lyralai, you will return home immediately. This madness ends now. Princess Lyralai floated in, her tank facing her father. Her lights were steady and calm. Father, I have learned much during my time here. The humans are not primitive as we believed. You have been corrupted, the Emperor roared. His lights flashed angry red. These creatures have filled your mind with their crude ideas. You will come home and be cleansed of this contamination. I will not, Princess Lorelei said quietly. The silence that followed was terrible. No one had ever refused the Emperor before. You dare defy me? Emperor Nepticus asked. I dare to think for myself, the princess replied. I dare to feel for myself. I dare to choose my own path. Jake stepped forward. Your Majesty, your daughter has done nothing wrong. She has simply learned to see beyond the boundaries of one culture. The Emperor turned his blazing eyes on Jake. You are the one who corrupted my daughter with your primitive touching ritual. He showed me truth, Princess Lorelei said before Jake could answer. He showed me that connection between beings can take many forms, that emotion is not weakness, but strength, that there is beauty in feeling as well as thinking. Dr. Lisa Park activated her scanners. She had been recording everything, hoping to find a way to help the princess. Your Majesty, Lisa said carefully, perhaps you should see what your daughter has become. She projected the princess's new light patterns for everyone to see. The colors and movements were more complex and beautiful than any Zephyrian communication they had ever seen. What is this? The Emperor asked in wonder. This is your daughter expressing herself in ways your people have never achieved, Lisa explained. She hasn't been corrupted. She's evolved. She's developed new abilities by combining Zephyrian light communication with human emotional understanding. Emperor Nepticus stared at the patterns. Slowly, his angry lights began to fade. Princess Lorelei swam closer to her father. Papa, she said, using the childhood name she hadn't spoken in years. I'm still your daughter, but I'm also more than I was before. Please try to understand. The Emperor looked at his daughter for a long time. Then he looked at Jake and the human crew. Show me, he said finally. Show me what you have taught my daughter. Over the next several hours, Jake and his crew demonstrated human customs and emotions. They showed the Emperor art and music. They explained love and friendship and sacrifice. Most importantly, they showed him how his daughter had grown and changed. Commander Ryan Brooks told the Emperor about his family. Your Majesty, when my son was born, I felt something I had never felt before. Pure joy mixed with terrible fear. Love so strong it hurt. That's what emotions do. They make us more than we are alone. Dr. Park showed the Emperor scientific data. Your daughter's brain patterns have become more complex. She's developed new neural pathways. She hasn't been damaged. She's been enhanced. Princess Lorelei demonstrated her new abilities. She created light patterns that told stories and expressed feelings in ways that amazed even her father. You see, Papa, she said, I haven't lost what it means to be Zephyrian. I've added to it. I've become something new. Finally, the Emperor asked the question everyone was waiting for. This kissing ritual, he said to Jake. Show me what it does. Jake looked at Princess Lorelei, who nodded encouragement. Your Majesty, a kiss between two people who care about each other is a moment of complete honesty. It's a way of saying, you matter to me, without words. Demonstrate, the Emperor commanded. Jake and Princess Lorelei moved to the clean chamber, again. This time she came out of the water willingly, eagerly. When they kissed, her lights exploded in the same beautiful patterns as before, but this time, Jake was ready for the emotional connection. He let himself feel her joy, her gratitude, her growing affection for him. When they separated, both of them were glowing. Not just the princess with her lights, but Jake with happiness and wonder. Emperor Nepticus watched in amazement. I felt it, he whispered. Even from here, I felt the emotions you shared. How is this possible? Love is powerful, Princess Lorelei said simply. In any form, between any beings. The Emperor was quiet for a very long time. His lights moved in slow, thoughtful patterns. Daughter, he said finally, if you stay with these humans, you cannot return home. Our people will not accept what you have become. I know, Papa, she said sadly. But, the Emperor continued, perhaps it is time for our people to learn and grow as well. Perhaps we have been too afraid of change. He turned to Jake. Captain Martinez, I propose a new arrangement. My daughter will remain here as a permanent ambassador to your people. She will teach humans about Zephyrian culture and learn more about human ways. Jake felt his heart leap with joy. We would be honored, Your Majesty. In return, the Emperor said, I want some of your people to come to our world. We will establish a cultural exchange program. Both our species will benefit from learning about each other. Dr. Park stepped forward excitedly. Your Majesty, I volunteer to be part of the first exchange group. Commander Brooks nodded. Count me in too. Princess Lyrelei swam to her father and touched the glass of his tank with her hand. Thank you, Papa, for understanding, for being brave enough to change. The Emperor's lights showed deep love and pride. You have taught me something important, daughter. Sometimes the greatest act of love is letting someone become who they're meant to be. 6 months later, the first Zephyrian Human Cultural Exchange Center was established on a small moon between their two worlds. Princess Lyrelei, now known as Ambassador Lyrelei, worked there with Jake and a team of both species. Jake found her one evening in the center's garden, a special space with both air and water areas. She was floating in a shallow pool, watching human children play with young Zephyrians. The two species were learning each other's games and languages. Any regrets? Jake asked. Sitting beside the pool, Lyrelei smiled and reached out to take his hand. Her touch still sent warm feelings through both of them. How could I regret learning to feel? She said. How could I regret discovering love? Jake squeezed her hand gently. What do you think the future holds for us? Adventure, she said, her lights dancing with joy. Discovery, learning, and love. Always love. A young human girl ran up to them, followed by a small Zephyrian who flashed happy blue lights. Ambassador Lyrelei, the girl said. Can you teach us that new light pattern, the one that means best friends forever? Lyrelei laughed, a sound like music. Of course, little one. As she began to glow with teaching patterns, Jake watched in wonder. The kiss had lasted only 3 seconds, but it had opened a door between two worlds. It had shown that love and understanding could bridge any gap, overcome any difference. Princess Lyrelei had been wrong when she said, we don't kiss. Now she knew that everyone could learn to kiss, to touch, to connect in ways that made the universe a smaller, warmer place. And as Jake watched the children of two species playing together, learning together, loving each other like family, he knew that the best was yet to come. The 3-second kiss had changed everything, and everything was beautiful.